Islam, you're here. Congratulations, you did it. The 17th straight win. It was a tough fight to get there, but how good do you feel right now, having accomplished what no one else in the history of our sport has ever done before?
I feel happy. Thank you so much. Feel happy. Hard fight. It's good fight. Good opponent. And now it's no more Anderson Silva. Islam Makhachev record. I like this.
Dana, very good, interesting, tactical main event between Islam and Ian Machado. Garry, Ian showed great defensive work. Islam showed that he was strong either against the bigger guy. Give us your thoughts on the main event and how it played out.
What did you say? He was what?
Stronger and...
Let me read. They have this thing like AI doing it for me now. Machado, Ian showed great defensive work. Islam showed that he was strong even against the bigger guy. Give your thoughts on the main event and how it played out.
When I hear it back, it sounds like a bad question. Not repeat it back to me.
Not a bad question. I think that, this is my honest opinion on it. I felt like tonight was...
Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Garry just took place in the main event of UFC 330, and this is my reaction to that absolute snooze fest in the main event. Other than one moment in round 2 where Islam Makhachev head kicked Ian Garry and caught him with the toes at the end of the head kick and knocked him down. Ian Garry gets right back up. Islam Makhachev scores a head and arm throw takedown. Other than that one moment in that 30-second sequence, Islam Makhachev didn't do any harm whatsoever to Ian Garry.
Tonight wasn't my night. I feel great. I did great. Islam was just better to me than me tonight, and that's okay. I want everybody who loves me and supports me and wants to see me do better. I want you to know that I'm going to be back. I'm not disheartened by this. I'm bulletproof in my mind. I'll be back. I'm 28 years of age. I just fought arguably the greatest fighter we've ever seen in this sport, and I pushed him to the fucking wire. And I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of my team and everything that we've done. I'm so proud of what I've done in this world and who I've become. Nobody's stopping me. Nobody stopped me. Tonight was not my night. Islam, your team, congratulations. You guys did amazing.
Islam. And still, alhamdulillah. Bomba. Starshi, alhamdulillah.
If you ask me today, Shavkat is not fighting. Prat is still fighting, because Morales also is good, but Morales fight, I don't know, last time, I don't remember when he fight, If you ask who's the most deserved guy, I think Carlos.
He landed a head kick in round 2, and other than that, he did nothing! For 20 minutes! He did fucking nothing! Perfect. That's the truth! 0! He caught him with a head kick in round 2, and other than that, he did fucking nothing! The whole fight!
Rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands. And that shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also, a lot of mental, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck.
UFC 330 just wrapped up seconds ago in the Philadelphia, as the cool kids say, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. First time since 2019 that the UFC held an event there. That was a fight night event headlined by Justin Gaethje versus Edson Barboza in March of 2019. This time around, they come back with the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, who makes history. 17 wins in a row for Islam Makhachev. He retains his welterweight title. As GC just said, if you were watching the post show, and a tremendous job.
We have to give credit to GC and Rick for fully committing to their watch party outfits from start to finish. They didn't just host the event, they stayed dedicated to the entire bit, and that made the watch party even more entertaining. But while GC and Rick were creating memorable moments outside the octagon, Islam Makhachev was making UFC history inside it. After defeating Ian Garry, Makhachev became just the 5th fighter in UFC history to successfully defend a title in 2 different weight classes. That achievement puts him alongside legends such as Henry Cejudo, Daniel Cormier, John Jones, and Amanda Nunes. But the bigger milestone may be his winning streak. Makhachev now has 17 consecutive UFC victories, officially moving past Anderson Silva's legendary record of 16 straight wins. Silva's streak stood for more than a decade, but Makhachev finally broke it at UFC 330. So, GC and Rick may have won the watch party fashion contest, but Islam Makhachev was the one who left Philadelphia with a place in the UFC history books.
I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. I felt like the upset could happen tonight with so much on the line, all the records that Islam has, and he's going to break Anderson Silva's record. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands. And that shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck, wish I could do that over again. You know, if he came out and tried to destroy and win that last round, you know, with everything that he had, I think it's a totally different fight. Islam went out, you know, it's the complete opposite now. Against a bigger, strong, rangy guy who has good takedown defense, controlled him, shut him down. I don't know if he was in his head and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but, you know, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight. When I went in after the fight and Ian Garry came over and shook my hand, Ian Garry's handshake is like a fucking vice grip, you know, and he is a big, powerful, rangy guy. And, you know, for Islam to go in and do what he did to him tonight, you know, physical and mental. If you to come out of that fucking corner like a raging fucking bull, you know, we might be having a different conversation right now.
Do you feel like Ian's too nice to his opponents? At the press conference, he wanted to build Islam up. He's been nice about him all week.
I think that Ian's a classy guy is what I think. And, you know, he always shows class. He did, you know, before the fight, he goes over and shakes, you know, all the corners' hands and all that stuff's great. But when that fucking bell rings, you got to switch. You got to switch all that shit off and go. And you definitely got to do it in the 5th round after you know, he fought a great fight against Islam, who, you know, everybody in this room and everybody else is saying, well, we might start talking about GOAT. You don't go shake the fucking GOAT's hand going into the 5th round. You come out to fucking annihilate him. I mean, that just has to be your mindset. In my humble opinion.
Really tested in ways that we haven't seen him tested before. I mean, it was a difficult fight. Although he won by, you know, a good margin, a healthy margin, there was moments where you're used to Islam having a certain amount of control and dominance that he just didn't seem to have over the bigger guys. And this is the question. As he's moved up to 170, there's some guys like Morales that are absolutely gigantic. And what happens if he fights those guys? The gap is bigger than it is with Ian Garry. Ian, again, out of the 10 victories that he's had inside the octagon, he's only had 3 stoppages. Morales killed.
The fight between Islam Makhachev and Ian Garry is over, so now we can look back at the predictions and see who understood the matchup best. Chael Sonnen believed Islam's biggest problem would not come after the fight reached the ground. Makhachev had already proven that he could control elite opponents with his wrestling and top pressure. Instead, Sonnen identified the real challenge, getting Garry down consistently and keeping him there for 5 rounds. Garry's size, movement, long-range striking, and takedown defense made him a difficult target. Islam could not simply rush forward and expect an easy entry. He had to close the distance carefully while avoiding Garry's jab, kicks, and counterattacks. That concern was justified. Garry had success on the feet and landed clean strikes, but Makhachev's patience eventually paid off. Islam secured 7 takedowns and controlled Garry for more than 12 minutes, turning a dangerous striker into a fighter focused mainly on defending and escaping. Sonnen was right that taking Garry down would be the key challenge. However, Makhachev proved more consistent than expected once he found his rhythm. Garry made the fight competitive, but Islam's wrestling ultimately decided the outcome.
Don't think that Islam believes he'll have a problem once he gets him there. I mean, Islam is just so damn dominant on the ground. I mean, he passed the side control, trapped up Jack Del Maddalena, 25 straight minutes. He essentially toyed with Charles Oliveira to the point that he said they should take Charles's black belt away. So I don't believe once we get to the ground that Islam has any trepidation. So what is it? The punches and the kicks, the range? Well, those things aren't a problem if you're going to take the guy down. So I believe by this process of elimination, I've now identified what Islam sees as the problem. He's not confident he can go out and take Ian Garry down. He's not confident that he can just get him down and take him there and keep him there for 20.
Chael Sonnen highlighted a surprising comment from Islam Makhachev. The champion had suggested that Ian Garry could be a more dangerous opponent than Ilia Topuria, who was then ranked number 1 pound for pound and held a UFC title. Sonnen viewed that as a major compliment. If Islam truly saw Garry as the greater threat, it showed that he respected the challenger's size, reach, movement, and awkward striking style. But Sonnen's prediction went further than simply calling the matchup competitive. He expected Makhachev to win if he could impose his wrestling, yet believed Garry had a real chance to create a major upset late in the fight. His official pick was Garry by knockout, possibly in the 4th round. That prediction did not come true. Garry had moments on the feet, but Islam's pressure and wrestling prevented him from building enough striking momentum. Makhachev secured 7 takedowns and controlled Garry for more than 12 minutes before winning by unanimous decision. Sonnen was right about one thing: Garry was a serious threat and made Islam work. But Makhachev's ability to repeatedly close the distance proved more decisive than Garry's range advantage.
There's something within Ian Garry where Islam believes Ian Garry is more dangerous than Ilia Topuria. That's a huge compliment. Don't forget, 8 weeks ago, Ilia Topuria was ranked number 1 in the world while being a divisional champion at the same time. Don't forget that. It was at that time that Islam still said that kid is a bigger threat. That means something. Ian Garry by knockout. I would not, as a gambling man and the son of a gambler, I would not wage a round, though I think it's going to be 4. I would give a good look to a prop bet that's over 2.5. This is not gambling advice. This is just the smartest guy you know sharing. And
Henry Cejudo refused to count Ian Garry out. He believed Garry's size, movement, jab, and attacks to Islam's lead leg could create serious problems before Makhachev secured the clinch. Cejudo also questioned whether Islam could control a much larger opponent once the fight reached the ground. Garry's competitive mindset was another factor. His previous opponents had struggled to deal with his length and awkward style, which is why Cejudo felt the challenger was being underestimated. That warning was partly correct. Garry had success at range and survived all 5 rounds, but Makhachev's pressure ultimately took over. Islam secured 7 takedowns and controlled Garry for more than 12 minutes before winning by unanimous decision. Cejudo correctly identified Garry's path to victory, but Makhachev's wrestling proved too consistent over 25 minutes.
So now what I'm saying is you cannot write off a guy that is 6'3", can get up to his feet, uses the jab, and then kicks the lead leg very, very well. Will Islam take him down? Yes. Now, could Islam control him in Dagestani? I mean, that to me, that's the biggest answer, because when it comes to the feet too, he as much as people do not like him, as much as you cannot hate on the competitive spirit that this dude has. He probably doesn't finish people like people want to, but he does get his hand raised. I mean, he did it too. Look, a guy like MVP is very hard to fight. I'm just saying, different stylistic fight than a guy like Islam Makhachev. But remember, man, like he's a bigger welterweight too, man. And I just feel like people are really counting on Ian Garry out, and that wouldn't so damn much. This dude believes that. I mean, he's got a space on his wall saying he's gonna do it, but styles make fight, Kumar.
Kamaru Usman warned that simply keeping the fight standing would not be enough for Ian Garry to defeat Islam Makhachev. Usman explained that Islam does more than wrestle. He controls distance, manages pressure, sets the pace, and keeps opponents reacting to him. His rhythm forces fighters to stay in front of him while constantly worrying about the takedown. For Garry to win, he had to disrupt that rhythm and push Makhachev out of his comfort zone. His jab, movement, and long-range attacks were important, but they needed to prevent Islam from establishing pressure along the fence. Usman also pointed out that Makhachev's striking is often overlooked. Islam can use his hands and kicks to make opponents hesitate, then threaten the takedown when they begin reacting. The fight proved Usman's point. Garry had success at range, but Makhachev eventually imposed his pace, secured 7 takedowns, and controlled him for more than 12 minutes. Garry's striking made the contest competitive, but standing alone was never enough. Islam's ability to combine distance control, striking, and wrestling ultimately decided the fight.
Very, very good at being able to slide back, slide to the side, just keep you at that range, because you can't rush him. If you rush him, I change levels, I put you down. And so it keeps guys there, and you just kind of, Islam does this thing, and I remember there was at one point where I was just kind of there. Well, I do this dance where you just kind of hypnotize everybody. They just stay right in front of you. They just do what you want. They just move into your rhythm, move into your dance. And Islam does such a phenomenal job right now at that. It's almost like he's not getting out of third gear. He just kind of stays in third gear. And if Ian Garry cannot get him out of third gear, I'm sorry, I just don't see how he gets it done. Just staying on your feet alone is not enough, because Islam's not bad on his feet. He's not. Islam has really good striking. So that I just don't think that alone, I don't think is enough to
Max Holloway expected a much more competitive fight than the odds suggested. He believed Garry's reach would create problems in the opening rounds, while Islam took time to figure out the distance and find his way inside. But Holloway also believed the fight would gradually shift in Makhachev's favor. The longer the contest lasted, the more opportunities Islam would have to adjust, cut off the cage, and force Garry into the clinch. That prediction was almost exactly what happened. Garry had success early with his range and movement, but once Islam began closing the distance, the fight changed. Makhachev pressured Garry toward the fence, secured 7 takedowns, and controlled him for more than 12 minutes. Holloway called it a vintage Makhachev performance, and although Garry survived all 5 rounds, Islam's pressure, positioning, and ground control ultimately earned him the unanimous decision.
A lot of people are giving Ian no shot, which is blowing my mind. I think this is going to be a way more competitive fight than people think. I think early on, it's 5 rounds. Early on, I think so in the first 2 rounds, I think so Islam is going to have problems with Ian's reach, just trying to figure him out. At the end of the day, the longer the fight goes on, Islam only gets stronger. I think so if Islam can get his hands on him, Islam can drag him down, and we're just going to see a vintage Makhachev victory, you know. Does he submit him? I don't know. Maybe he just pressure him, get on top, controls, you know, some ground and pound here and there. I think the fight is going to be super competitive in the first 2 rounds, and then once Islam figure out that reach, and cuts Ian off and gets him against the cage and drag him to the ground, I think so Makhachev is going to be end still.